All right. Well, look at here, man. I'm going to ask JT a simple question. I don't want him to answer it just yet, or I want him to think about it for a minute because I think Alabama is 5-1, and for some reason, I feel like there's a big overreaction to like the world is ending for the Alabama football team. So my question to him is: has he ever experienced anything like this where your team has actually, got a good record in college, and everything you read is how terrible we are?
Uh, no. And as a matter of fact, it was something where there were. Of course, I was in a chat. I probably shouldn't have been that day, but there was a lot of like Debbie Downers and a lot of complaining going on going into halftime. And I'm like, wait a minute, like we're not even losing. It's 14-12. And like, at this point, people are just eviscerating the defense. And I was like, hold on. Like to this point in the game right now, they've given up one touchdown. And there were 5 points that came after that, two of which were the offense's fault because of a safety. And then the other one, I believe it was a short field, maybe not, but even then it was still a field goal. So like they gave up 10 points and a half, and all of a sudden the sky's falling. I was like, I understand, like one of those touchdowns didn't look very good, but people are gonna score. It's very hard to pitch a shutout, and it's not any easier when your offense is turning the ball over. So
That's right. Uh, I need to go ahead and make sure you guys know this is not live. So when you're looking at this live chat box sitting over here, you ain't gonna see no chat in there. Okay, so don't think like nothing's happening. Me and JT just need to make sure we get this content out early to you all so that you can catch the replays of the Alabama, or what we like to call the look back, and kind of give you some information on that. So JT, I do have another question here for you. Style of defense. All right. Uh, I think you run a 4-2-5 at JP2 or some version. Is that
we
right?
do, yes.
Okay. So the top two common defenses you would say are what?
In college,
Yeah,
uh,
sure.
probably a 4-2 or a 3-4 is what I would guess. I mean, I guess there's some like weird 2-4 stuff, which is really just a 4-2-5. You just got stand up linebackers that are playing DN.
Okay.
So I think you're probably either in a 3-4 or a 4-2, and then the next one is probably some version of a 3-3. If I had to guess.
Okay. And for you novice folks, the first number is how many linemen you have. The second number is how many linebackers you have. And then you add on the defensive backs to make 11 at the end. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Did I explain that well enough?
Yep.
Okay. So the reason why I ask you that is because, well, as we're talking about this negativity, I see a lot of 4-2-5 is trash. 4-2-5 is trash. Why are we running 4-2-5? Now, he just told you that the two common ones are 3-4 and 4-2-5, with 3-3 being the next one, which we actually kind of run. Other than that, you start to getting into, you could do the math, 5-2, 6-1,
4-3.
4-3, and I think you had a comment about a 4-4.
Mm-hmm.
And there could be some other stuff, when you're getting goal line or whatever. I don't know. But those are the main ones. So when people are, it irks me, JT, to hear people just talking about the 4-2-5, and and how bad it is with Kane Womack. But is it really the 4-2-5, or do you think it's something else? without
Well,
giving away what you think it truly
oh, uh, okay.
is.
That's
Yeah,
that one's a hard. I
go
would
ahead.
say, um, if you were skeptical, you should check out our video, which I will link somewhere up here. Oh, you can't see it. It's gonna be up at the top right. I'll put a card there. The Nightmare in Nashville, where I had Coach Smith on with me, um, talking about what the problems seemed to be, more so than whether it was a schematics issue or something else. So I thought that was a good watch. It's a longer watch. It's a painful watch because Alabama lost that game, but um, I think if you go in there open minded, you'll come out with maybe a different notion than you came in with.
Okay. Great answer, buddy. Without giving away everything just yet, I know
I'm,
maybe
I'm
you had to
trying.
put
I'm trying.
that brain together, as we work on our teases and all that kind of stuff, right? So, and I agree with JT, and I think that's what we want to talk about and try to get you guys and ladies to understand that it's not always the scheme, that it could be something else. And if you have not seen that Nightmare in Nashville um, podcast, you do need to go watch it. Both JT and Coach Smith, Glenn Stretch Smith, did a tremendous job of breaking this down and actually um, talking about the issues that we were having with Vandy. Which you watch this South Carolina game, there's a lot of copycat going on. Everybody always talking about copycat league, but I saw
Mm-hmm.
some shuffles and or shovels and some option type things that you know um, that we still got to get better at. Okay, so I'm going to preface this video with saying that hey, I don't think the 4-2-5 is the total problem. I'm not giving up on our coaches yet. I don't think I've been saying this in Twitter and everywhere where else that um, yeah, we're struggling with things. I'm not saying we're playing well, but I'm going to go ahead and give a big thank you to Tide in Texas for giving us the opportunity to see some data. Maybe JT and I will dive into this from Pro Football Focus and some of the grades of our players. Not to say it's not to demean them or anything else, but you need to know who's playing well and who isn't. And it's not just from our eyes. What we try to do on this show is give you the facts, as much as possible. Yeah, we do have some opinions and all this, but when you can back it up with certain things, that makes it better. Okay, so JT, when you're in practice and you see things that you have to work on, I don't know. I just want you to be a coach for a minute, almost like that. You're watching a film, you see things that you have to work on. Do you adjust practices? Do you add new drills? What happens on Saturdays for you? You play on Friday, on Saturdays, and you're getting ready for Monday. Tell me about that process that you actually go through as a coach.
So Saturday, um, first thing that I do at least is I go back and self scout. Right. So, um, if I had the papers, maybe no, because I might not be able to find it as quickly as I'd like to, and I really don't feel like editing. Um, I've got like a 6-page report on self scout that I got to fill out. Um, and it's trying to get me to think about, okay, what do we do well? What do we do wrong? What do we do poorly? What can be fixed? What are teams going to try to do to you going forward? What do you think your strengths are that people are not going to try to do to you anymore? Things like that. What position groups do you think you have problems with? And then one of the last things is, fix or replace. Meaning, do you think you can fix the problem? Do you, especially if it's a player, do you think you can fix the player? Um, do you have time to fix the player? Have you already invested the time and it's not happening? And then, kind of, have you gotten to the point where now you need to consider replacing the player? So go through all of that. And then you start to see some recurring themes because you still have to take that and you have to kind of compare it back to the last weeks before then to see if you're kind of writing the same things. If you're kind of writing the same things, then that means you probably need to start addressing something differently in practice. And usually it's not that hard to figure it out. I mean, you go through that exercise, but I mean, you really usually can just watch tape and be like, yeah, we're not tackling well, or, you know, why are these big plays happening? And you got people's eyes in the backfield or whatever. And you just kind of figure out, okay, first you need to figure out what the problem is. Then you can start marinating on solution. And for us, a lot of times is that does involve changing practice a little bit. And that doesn't necessarily mean the structure. Sometimes that means just changing the focus, whether we're going to spend time in Indy doing different things. Like, so a lot of times maybe we use the individual time to install or go through a little bit of a scouting report. Maybe we do formation recognition or something like that. And maybe we'll say, okay, we're not going to do as much of that on Monday. You know, we're going to work on key reads, which we have a bye week. So yes, we're going to work on key reads this week. Maybe it's, we need to have a little bit more contact in practice. Maybe practice periods need to be a little bit longer. Maybe we need more 7-on-7 work. Maybe we need more inside zone work. I mean, or inside run work. There's many things that we can do. The point is, we don't want to be stagnant as coaches and just say, hey, well, we're going to keep doing the same thing that we've been doing for 7 weeks and hope that something changes. We're going to have to try to figure out how to truly do this, right? And how to actually fix the problem. So,
All right. So, would there be any reason in your mind that, based upon what you just said, and you're coaching at a high school, that in our public school, you'd be a 3A or 4A type school? You know, we're one of the larger private schools here in Texas. But is there any reason that you would think that any college coach, particularly at a major Division I level, isn't doing some type of process like this, where there's self scouting and trying to make adjustments to make the team better?
no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't think they're just sitting on their hands, waiting for something to happen. I mean,
Okay.
I
I,
don't. I don't get paid nearly like those dudes do, and I'm doing it.
well, and I know it's a simple question. I'm trying to do that to get people to think about this. These guys spend a lot of time. JT
A
got a
lot
full
more time
time
than I
job.
do.
You got a full time job. You're doing this, right? Which is still probably full time,
Mm-hmm.
taking a lot of time, but you're not in the classroom and all this other kind of stuff. You got other work to do. And there's a lot of people like that. But in high school, most coaches are still teaching or doing something else. You know, most, maybe not the head coach, but most of them are. But in college, they ain't teaching. They got all day to sit down and watch film, self scout, look at other stuff, and you got to build a practice plan so that
And
you
they
can
have
hit these
help.
things. Oh gosh, and no telling how many assistants they have now to actually break down stuff, and they probably make PowerPoints for them. you know,
Well, we know they do. We
yeah.
know one offensive analyst that was doing exactly that, making the powerpoints and presenting and doing all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do. So, all right. So I'm trying to give the guys a little bit of love and saying that, hey, the coaching staff, that they got to do some work here, right? Now, the bad part is, right, JT, bad. I'm going to say bad, and that might not be the right word, because, and we'll get to some film in a second here. I just need to paint the picture here. Is that you just laid out very well of how you have to, um, maybe adjust your plan, but within that, and particularly during the season, if things aren't going well, how difficult can it be on limited time? Even in college, they're limited. I don't think they get 20 hours or something like that a week now. I don't know what the real number is.
I don't know.
But now you got to try to make the adjustments and try to, like you say, fix or replace this person. So how hard is it for you to do something like that? You play on Friday, then you practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, Thursday's a walkthrough.
Mm-hmm.
So college they play on Saturday. I don't know what they do on Monday, but they got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Friday you're traveling.
and Friday you're doing something. So how difficult is that really as a coach to try to make significant
Yeah,
adjustments?
you never really feel like you have enough time, right? I mean, especially if you're going, let's say you've got your, and I've said this before, day one rules, your camp rules. Like, hey, we're installing it and we've got to teach it at a base level against a no-name opponent. Right. And if you're, maybe you're like me and you're telling your linebackers, hey, you got to read the guards. You got to read the guards. You got to read the guards. You're drilling this in their head. You got to read your guards. And then you run up against a team like Baylor who does a fake pull where the guards like go this way and then do a 360 and go back the other way. And you see that on film and you're like, oh, this is one of like the plays that they run a lot. And you're like, how am I going to unteach 7 weeks worth of teaching in 3 days to get you to break habits that we have been like trying to drill into you for 1 week of an opponent? And then like, so that, cause you have that conundrum of like, okay, well, if you're successful in breaking those habits for 1 week, you have to re-break them. You have to re-break those new habits for the next week.
Yep.
Right. And then it becomes it can become a disaster. Right. So you never really feel like you have enough time. And then the things that you are spending time on during the week, like you never really get to everything. Right. You never really get to, I mean, we had a deal where, we're trying to, okay, we need to work on containing the quarterback. We got to contain him. We got to contain him. We got to make him step on the quarterback, collapse the pocket. And then we play one team where, containing the quarterback is like a day one. That makes sense. Duh. You should always try to contain the quarterback. And then you got one guy that you play on your schedule that's like, we need to get him out of the pocket because he cannot throw once he gets out of the pocket. He panics or whatever. He likes to step up. So let's flush him out of the pocket. And it's like, that just goes against everything that anybody's ever been taught all year. And I think you see that when you face option teams. You see that when you're, maybe you play a whole bunch of mobile stationary quarterback or stationary quarterbacks and you come across a mobile one, or vice versa, where you're used to playing a lot of mobile quarterbacks, so you're spying all the time, and then all of a sudden now you got one dude that you got in the game that's meant to be able to track down mobile quarterbacks, and now you're asking him to drop into pass coverage and like be normal. It's tougher than people think.
Yep. Okay. So, all right. So here's my statement then. 4-2-5 is not the problem. I think it's the fundamentals within side of the 4-2-5 that we're running is the problem. Now you got to help me try to make sure that people can decipher the difference between schematically and fundamentals.
So let me try. I'm probably going to say it a little bit more harshly, but what I think that you're saying is it's not necessarily the play calling and it's not the schematic and X's and O's on the board about the 4-2-5. You have a very, at times, undisciplined play from like in the game. It comes down to execution where, we showed some clips of like, hey, we got a linebacker and the hole opens up and we're not running through it. We're standing there and the running back is making contact with us as the linebacker instead of us making first contact with the running back. We got eyes that are in the backfield too long. It's like, yes, we know we're supposed to be looking at the quarterback and those kind of things, but you still have to be aware of your surroundings and know where receivers are. And if you're staring down the quarterback and you have no idea where receivers are, that's how you get balls thrown over your head. We got, not coming out of a stance, not being the low man, getting pushed off the ball 4 yards into the end zone.
You know what irks me? And I think we need to do a cut up It's how many sacks we've actually missed because you're coming in out of
Out of control.
control. When you got a free rush on the quarterback and we keep missing.
Right.
That's not a problem with 4-2-5. That's because obviously it's working because they're getting there. They're just missing, you know. And I think people take fundamentals the wrong way. They just like we can't tackle, we can't tackle. Well, there's still an art to tackling regardless of what they do in the pros and how they're just trying to knock the ball out, not trying to get people down. It has to be worked on if you're expecting for a player to do it. Whose fault is it? Is it the execution of the player, or as JT just said, how much time can you really spend on every one of these things that he just said in the course of the week? Where your eyes are you tackling appropriately? What are
Yeah,
your
and
rush
then you still
lanes?
have to prepare for the opponent, right? You can't spend 3 hours on tackling and then not know what the game plan is or what your opponent's how your opponent's trying to attack you, right?
Yes,
And you got to find that balance of, are you preparing in this week? Are you preparing for Tennessee, or are you trying to go back to the fundamentals? And yeah, you can do both, but if you have that, if your tackling's better, that's great. But if Tennessee's scheme is still confusing you because you didn't work on it because you worked on tackling all week, it doesn't matter, and vice versa.
that's right. And you cannot practice with these guys all day. It's the one thing it's even changed in the NFL now. They still have the contact hours that you can have with guys. Um, Even though it's more like a full time job, there's only so much time you can be on the field. So you have to learn other ways. So anyway, that's kind of the point that I wanted to make, and I hope that we did a good job of explaining that to you all about. Don't give up on this 4-2-5 just yet. I wouldn't even give up on I don't know how. Me and JT didn't talk about this. I'm not giving up on Womack yet. Do I like every call that he makes? When we watched some of this film today, do I think there should have been some different stuff towards the end of the game? Yeah, me personally, I do. But I think we've had a little bit of overreaction to someone who
What I've
is,
seen is a lot more than a little bit overreaction.
it's been crazy that we're still ranked seventh in the country, and now have we played as good as we could? No, but you got a new guy, and now you're learning all this kind of stuff, and everybody's making up every excuse, for whatever. It's the shirts that he's wearing. It's how he looks on the sideline. This stuff.
Oh
No,
man,
no, no, no undisciplined.
dude, I'll never understand that. I will never understand.
It doesn't make sense, JT. I'm sitting here watching these pro games, and I figured out how to make this post because the shirt that the board is
That's the
wearing on the
same thing I
sideline, they're
said. I was like,
all
hold
wearing it
on.
in the
I was like, wait
pros.
a minute. So DeBoer can't wear what he's wearing, yet Bill Belichick was wearing a poorly cut off sleeveless hoodie. Mike McDaniel wears sweats with a long sleeve shirt and a vape in his pocket. And Kyle Shanahan has got a hoodie on sometimes, and he's wearing whatever kind of sports leisure pants he wants to wear.
Well, here's what I say as your athletic director. And I know I'm not Greg Byrne, but if I didn't want you to wear what you're wearing on the sideline, I would tell you because I'm your boss in that sense. So if I don't want you to wear your hats backwards, guess what I'm gonna do? Hey man, we're not doing that. And I've had to do that as a coach and as an AD. So hey, we're not wearing jeans. We're not doing this. We're not whatever. Um, so what DeBoer is wearing, he's allowed to wear. Apparently, it's not against the rules, and the athletic director hadn't said anything to say that's not what we do at Alabama. So why are we judging? That's my take. Okay. Uh, do we want to talk about any PFF stuff, or just want to get to the film and
No, let's get to the film. We spent
go?
24 minutes already.
All right, let's go ahead and get into this film. We need to say thank you to Blackfire Pub, your Alabama home in Dallas, for making this possible for us. Man, I tell you what, And you guys should be so thankful for this because, man, we're getting dinged. Everybody's wondering where we're getting our film from, all kind of stuff. So they're making it hard for us to do this. But we love you guys so much that we're gonna keep on trucking and doing what we do. We do need y'all support in all kind of ways. We need subscriptions. Subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell. We need viewers. We need you to tell people about this because what we have, it is super, super hard to get. And now we're being targeted a little bit by a lot of people because they're jealous. They jealous. And we got it. So thank you for being here. All right. So let's pop into this film. All right. So we only got a few offensive plays. Uh, I just wanted to really kind of show you these guys. The offense has been playing well, so I'll throw in some different things. The pass blocking overall, JT has been pretty good. You know, other than Jaden Roberts having a hard time this game,
Yeah, that was rough.
he didn't score very well. But our run blocking has been consistent. Now, the person who had the lowest run blocking grade,
It's been consistent, if that's what you say a C minus is. I mean, I did
yes,
I averaged the PFF run blocking from our starting lineman, and that average grade was will be nice to say 66.
yeah, I'm about to say. Well, so as I just threw Jaden Roberts under the bus with his pass blocking, Caden Proctor's run blocking wasn't that good. That kind of shocked me a little bit. But
I think Jaden
anyway,
Roberts actually was the one who graded out the best in the run.
he did. I'm looking at my cheat sheet. So he was the best in run blocking and the worst in pass blocking.
And apparently he only played half the snaps. I don't know if you looked into it that far, but he played roughly half of the offensive snaps. Vandermark came in for him, and Vandermark's pass block grade was double what Roberts was this game.
Yes. And you have to weigh that on how many snaps and what that looked like and how
Mm-hmm.
many chances you got for error. So, okay, so I just love this play, JT, that I want to show here. This is all quarterback runs. We get so many different type of looks out of this. And I just, it seems like every time we get down the goal line, I think everybody knows we're going to run it or at least some kind of version of this. And why in the world they can't stop it? So we were talking about pros, centers, pulling, and all this kind of stuff. I know he didn't pull on this one. But look at this eye candy here, man. You got two guys crossing in front of you, the running back going up the middle. I mean, what are you supposed to do? You're a linebacker or a safety?
You the linebackers are not going to make a play here unless they're like keying the quarterback, right? Because like
They
you
still
know,
got to read
coach,
the lineman. They
right?
got to read their
Coach
step.
Ferris is always talking about fast flow and things like that, and it's like, well, everybody's going to the right, and you got a where's my pen? And you got this guy flashing across your face. You got split flow. Like where are you supposed to?
Well, you can see, and by rule, everybody's squeezing down to the right.
Yeah, I mean the only guy that has kind of a clue of what's going on is
Yeah,
him,
that was
but
pretty good.
everything is going it's going too fast. I mean, and then there's 2 yards of space right here. I mean that's kind of the design of the play, right? You're saying if anybody comes up
Ooh,
off
look
of
at this
this,
chicken scratch. Man, I don't know what's going
hey,
on.
this is.
But that's the way the play is designed, though, right? You
Well,
don't
I
know
was
where
also
the
going to
hell
say
anybody's going.
that's how coaches be drawing up there on the board anyway, and they never erase anything. They just keep drawing the same lines over and over again.
Yeah, man. So it just, and what's funny about it is they run this play out of so many different formations. I mean, it's just like he's always walking in untouched. I'm giving the boy a lot of credit for that, to actually understand what kind of weapon he has at quarterback and trying to make it work. Okay, so another run. It's probably going to look kind of similar here because a lot of times you're thinking quarterback draw and all this kind of stuff, but now the centers are uncovered. This is where it gets fun. Um, so what do we do with our Center, there's empty. Automatically start thinking. I would automatically start thinking quarterback draw or something.
Yeah,
Right?
because there's oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's I'm not counting the safety, but I guess you could. But there's 3 people in the box right now.
Ain't coming down there. But look what we run. And this is where I'm saying you're talking about creativity, watching film. I still want to know how they call this stuff. Um, Center pulls, the left tackle pulls. You still got this eye candy going the other direction. And I guess you can figure out where that guy's going. Now, he doesn't score on this one because he kind of
How?
slowing down. Well, I think he wanted to follow the guard. If he would have followed
Oh,
the
well,
center,
that's how he
if he
does
would
it.
have
Yeah,
followed the center,
we don't get a seal.
he would have went right up in there. But um, it's just still creativity on how good they make it. Right? You got empty again. They got two eyes, but man, all this
Yeah, they're
shifting.
basically saying that you're not going inside.
Yeah, but this is what's
There's no more bubbles.
We're gonna get you in the execution of how to actually get this.
Well, yeah, because then you add these 2 extra gaps. Like, all right, well, you're all in here. Who's
Nobody's out there. So when you're counting gaps, that's one problem. But look, you still got Puller with the center again. It's fold block 57. I mean, it's just too many gaps. You can't. He still. I don't think he got in on this one, but it's just still the point of how many times have we seen this already just in this one game of in the different looks that you're gonna get. So someone's having to teach. Look at this. I mean, you're a coordinator. How are you trying to figure out how to stop this mess? I know we're only watching 3 clips, but this is
but I mean, you got to have a. To me, you got to have a Q tag and say like, hey, whoever your 4th guy is, whether it's him or like whoever you got to kind of pick your poison, right? You got to. To me, I would be like, look, number 4 is not getting the ball. We're gonna make sure that when this play is run, that guy gets the ball, and we're gonna tell the back end like they need to be flying up to come get this jet sweep because you got to read these guards, which is not happening. So I mean, that's the way I would fix it. Is
yeah, I mean, you're right.
These 2 need to be keying.
But you're seeing our jet sweeps, and I think a lot of people do that. But then you see the jet sweeps that we keep getting hit for big yardage too.
Yeah, but that's what I said. You got to pick your poison. Like who what do you want to do? And I would say I want to make sure that this doesn't happen. I would rather try to make the open field tackle on a receiver running behind the line of scrimmage than let Jalen Milroe get active.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is the last one?
Yeah, this is the last one here. And again, all these gaps. This one. Okay, that one's actually filled, but like you got an angle here. And they're probably gonna pull somebody. I don't know. Let's see. I didn't watch this clip beforehand, so I guess you could block down, you could pull, you can go ahead and get here, and then have these 2 lead to go get anybody. And then you got this guy coming across, so maybe he gets I don't know. I don't even know if the play's going that way, but that seems good enough.
Or you might not even block him. But there you go. Now he throws the ball and he's wide open. You remember that play in the game? Good Lord.
Hey, in front of the show. I told you. Front of the show, Slade Bolden. What's up?
Oh, that's the clip you were telling me
Uh huh.
about. Okay. All right. Yeah, no, I missed that in the game. That's cool. Dapped him up too. Uh, I had to sneak the pass in there just because it was, you're talking so heavy run, but that's exactly what happens in a game when you're a coach and you're like, man, they keep running this doggone thing, and then all of a sudden the offensive coordinator says, "Gotcha." So great job by them. All right, a little bit of defense. JT, we've had 30 missed tackles since start of the season. I don't know if you saw that or if you looked at that.
That's all.
PFF. That's all, according to PFF. We had
I don't
8
know.
missed
Usually, I think
tackles.
I used to think that PFF was they would overcount things like that, but I don't know. I think they might be being a little generous.
They said we had 8 missed tackles in South Carolina in this game.
Mm,
Now, what do you constitute as a missed tackle? Maybe that's
yeah,
you know how
I
that
think
is.
it's anytime you had an opportunity to get the guy on the ground and you didn't. I'm sure they have more of a technical definition, but
Yeah, because do you actually have to have contact?
for my
Yeah,
definition, no, you do not have
yeah,
to
I
have
know.
contact.
Yeah, I
On
know.
PFF, you probably do.
Yes, because you could run by somebody and they might not. Okay, so this is the second to the last drive. Maybe that needs to be my one,
Oh, I turned off the
one
end zone view.
my one random thought. Is it second to last drive or first to last drive?
I know.
Most people say, you came second to last.
Yeah,
Well, it's
that's
last, and then
yeah. You have
first to
first
last or
place.
second to last.
You have first place, and then you have second to first place, and then it's just the other way around. You've got last, and you've got second to last. You know what I mean? It's just
I know
two
what
two
you
ends of
say
the
the
line.
first last place and
Yeah,
the
the
second to last,
first
but
last
you don't
place
say
is last
first to
place.
last.
Well,
You're
you don't
first
say
last
first to
person.
first either. You just say second. Penultimate is the word for that. SAT words for any of you high school kids listening. Penultimate means the one before the last.
All right. Okay. So this is
Penultimate drive.
the penultimate drive. We'll do spelling next time. We're only sent to 4, and you got a good rush. Kind of escapes a little bit. Um, but I did start kind of getting worried here on what was going on. Should we be sending pressure or not? We got out, there. Bad throw. Uh, should be second down now.
Yep,
I
this
don't know
is
how we
second
got some
and
yards.
4. Or I'm sorry, second and 6.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. If we had some kind of. Oh, that good means I
Oh,
missed first
yeah, you
down.
just missed one.
I
Yeah,
missed
you
first
missed
down.
first down.
Okay,
The end zone's going first instead of the wide. So let's keep that in mind. This is the next play. This is third down.
good one. Thanks for the reminder. One of the things we didn't do was send a whole lot of pressure on this deal. We're rushing the 4. So like this, this is a fundamental deal, right? You're coming through. Can you make that tackle? Is that a missed tackle? A missed sack?
If
Or
if I were counting missed tackles, yes, this is a missed tackle.
Mhm. Okay. Now he's running, so we get another first. We got to figure out what to do with one of the stats that we saw is that have not been good against running quarterbacks. Uh, all right, this is the next play. All day to throw.
Yeah, just too much time, right? This is snap it. Let's say 3 seconds. Balls out at almost 7. So yeah, I mean 4 full seconds.
Yes, and when you look at the back end, it's one of these that we have to talk about. Whether So they're running like these three inverts. We used to call it. I used to call it. So the safety at the top, kind of, he's almost like a hook player or a robber.
Mm-hmm.
With Malachi going into the middle. I don't, not quite sure why he went left.
You talking about Saab here? Why he's going
Yes.
this far, that far, that?
Yeah, because it's just a flood route over here. I mean, number two goes out. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
when he really, if he stay where I'm saying where he's supposed to be on that hash on the other side, he's going to be closer to this throw. Unless you think he's a true whole player.
I
Yeah.
think he is a whole player, but like
Well, he is. Then our
still,
corner
where
is
are you
like
going?
too deep at the top because he ain't driving his curl at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's.
I mean, just look at how we're playing this at the top because our corner here pulls off on the 7. So maybe this is an umbrella coverage
Yeah,
where they're trying to
well,
make
so
it,
if they're
trying to
running
run the clock.
quarters, if they're running quarters, this is kind of how we could play this, right? We could, um, and I'm not claiming that this is what they were running in their playbook, but the equivalent for us is we're calling this guy a wing back so we can play somewhat of a cloud coverage, or actually we could actually call all three of these and call, I think Kirby Smart and Saban might call it stubby. Basically, if we're getting to anything outbreaking from 2, we're going to clamp down on this and the safety's going to overlap. I kind of forget that I can like just draw anywhere.
Draw on yourself too.
So when you get the flood route like this, you still have the 3 for 3 because the corner can come down on this, the safety can overlap on this, and then you have the overhang. I guess this is the Husky. Come down on this, and you've got 1 for 1. Now, the thing that to me, where I'm looking at is where Saab is, even though, like, because I still think he has deep third or quarter, whatever it is, but he's coming
deep.
down into this hole. So we would actually call this kind of a stab, safety to B, meaning he kind of needs to be in this B gap area, not necessarily stab. He's going down, steal. He's coming across. So I would say he should be looking for a dig coming across this way. But my problem is that once his eyes come over here, which maybe they never do, is the problem.
You should flip back right now.
Right. This guy's running away. That guy's running away. This guy's running deep. There is nobody coming to him. His eyes are still, looks like they're still back here. And even then, I'm still kind of like, if you're staring at the quarterback that hard, at this point, his face mask is flipped back this way.
Yes.
And now, like, you need to redirect if you're playing this eyes technique. And he takes a couple more steps, and now he's late. And this corner is probably thinking like, hey, I got a guy sitting in the middle of the field, except he's no longer on the hash. He's in the middle of the field working his way across the formation, which I think is probably not the right thing to do here. I would say he's gone too far. And the reason I'd say he's gone too far is, remember, you're just splitting the field up into zones, right? You've got somebody in the flat down here. You've got somebody in this hook to curl area. You've got somebody deep. So he can kind of stay in this area, but he has to work out to the flat.
Yes, you got to fit. That's what we.
So you need somebody who's going to take this area on the other side of the field. And it's not this guy because he has this area in the field. So you can't come over here.
Yep. That's not a 4.25 problem. Had to get that in. Okay, so yeah, that was the back end. I wanted you to see that one. I just thought, you know, all right, one. You can make whatever call you want. Do you pressure? Do you play a little tighter? I don't know. I just feel like we had one guy go the wrong way.
Yeah, he did, and he's too far away, and that's
It's an easy throw or
easy
catch.
pickings, especially in the
Yep.
middle of the field like that.
Okay. So the next one we're still rushing for. We're probably getting a little gas. Pretty tight coverage this time. Now we're kind of playing a
Let's see.
lot tighter. Uh,
I didn't even know you
Thanks,
could.
Drake.
I mean, clearly they're going fast, but I didn't know that they could go this fast. The chains didn't even set. Now the chain crew is literally walking.
Yeah.
Like they're in no maybe the chains are on the other side though. I don't know. I
But this
guess.
does look like cover, some kind of cover one.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, so anyway,
Here
it's tight
you got a
coverage.
freshman getting broke down out here in the slot again. Right here.
Yep.
Getting his feet tied up.
It's tight coverage. I can't remember if we had penalty on this one or not.
Doesn't look like it.
Let's see where to put the ball. Yeah. Okay. So
Yep, 2nd and 10.
a lot of inverting on the safeties when we go in motion. Back to his former cover three. Now, I think
Good. Well, now see, I truly think that this is almost the same
the
coverage that
same
we
thing.
just saw a minute ago, except he sits where he's supposed to be, and the guy runs to him instead of him coming this way. And I know it's a little bit different because it's 2x2 instead of 3x1, but like this is the spacing that you wanted.
Yes. Now I watched the safety go out here, and I don't know if I put this clip on here before, but there's. Oh yeah, I did. I think it was on one of the plays. I don't. I got a small thing I don't like on how we run Malachi out of there to run to the middle third. I'll show it to you if it's on this
Okay.
clip or at some point. All right, 3-man front. So we're still talking about no person. This might be it right here. Yeah. This is it. So you need to start from the beginning. So we're always talking about the hiding, the disguising, but you got Malachi. I don't think this is fair to him as far as the ability to be able to break on the ball and try to get sideline to sideline from the post. So he's running from the hook to get to the middle third. There's no way he can get to the. Not that he would make this if he was doing a straight back pedal, but you can't break like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm talking about when you go sideways because he's just running out of there, just like a deep hole player. I mean, it's going to make him difficult to even break the opposite direction. I don't know. So I'm feeling some kind of way about this. I like the hide, that you're getting this robber guy down here again, but I think that puts Malachi in a world of hurt. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's me. But touchdown. Wait, is this the one they actually
Yeah.
caught?
Yep.
You're trying to coach him up. It's a great play. You just got to try to stand to him. Did he push off? Did he give you a little bit? You got to try to get that left hand in there. Um, tad bit earlier.
Yeah, it seems like he's trying to go like behind his body to poke this out instead of going in front.
Yes.
Which, if you're in the middle of the field, I can understand why you'd want to do that, but you're in the end zone. So whether he catches it in front of you or behind you, it's a touchdown. So you might as well go in front.
Yeah. Yes.
or take a pass interference. Anything other than this, I'd suppose.
With 45 seconds left. Yeah. So they got that right.
All right, so
Uh,
this is after the onside kick now.
yeah. We get the ball down here now. I'm sweating for real, stressing. You can see they got the same kind of lineup with the safety up. I don't know what they run them out. Again, it's the disguising. Um,
Yep, they run them out.
it just I don't.
Oh, this is the same
Oh, this
play.
same play. I was like, I don't like it.
Okay, so this is the 2 point.
They were talking about the one guy being open, but there's two guys open.
Yeah, number 6 on the backside. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you kind of get saved here just because 34 actually gets some pressure and hurries the throw, right? I
Well,
mean,
good thing they didn't hand it off to the Jet. I mean, I don't know where. I mean, he's gone too. I don't think there's no corner out there.
there is. He's
Oh yeah, he's still there. Okay, so um, how do things like this happen? I guess if you're asking. I think it's a lot of the eyes. Uh, it just seems like everybody's staring in the backfield. Um, not necessarily reading their men. Now that's a great play by this guy's name, 34. Drawing a blank.
Quay.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the next one.
Yes,
Next,
they've gotten the ball. Yes, they're.
now we actually decided to go ahead and bring some heat. The dude kind of short on that. He probably should have dropped the ball.
He definitely should have dropped the ball. This reminds me of what was it? The 2013 SEC championship against Georgia
Mhm.
when they had like no time left, and if he would have just dropped the ball and made it incomplete instead of catching it and falling down inbounds, Georgia doesn't run out of time and actually has a chance to win it.
Yep. Well, needs to say this is good for us. We do have a tendency of showing us a little bit. I guess there'll be a whole lot more dropouts, you know, on this.
Well, you
Uh,
did get one
uh,
from Justin Jefferson here.
yes. Um, they get the ball. It's a great play, but still get some positive yards out of the thing.
This is the same play.
Okay. Well, you can see the back end from it.
Okay.
If you wanted to see the DBs, I feel like I don't know, our corners just. I know we're reading off this stuff, but it just, I don't know. I think I want them to challenge a little bit more, but maybe not. Depending on what you want, or you protected the end zone, or not, or you teaching. So Florida State used to play man like this a lot. Okay, so this play, um, JT, is one of the fundamentals and techniques I want to talk about. Just real quick, if you can go back, watching Malachi Moore come off the edge. So this is like something that we actually had to work on in practice as DBs. Blitz. How do you actually blitz? What do you do when you're running at the quarterback, knowing they have a couple things they can do? They can step up, they can move to the right, or he can give you this spin move. So a lot of times you think this is just easy that you just get a run at them and do this, but I can remember having circuit drills and stuff of this nature of actually trying to make sure you came at the right angle and at the right speed. So this doesn't happen. This happened twice to Malachi in the game. Now, again, I don't know if this is called a missed tackle, you know, or if it's called a pressure. I would call it a pressure.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a QB hurry, but
So when we're talking about fundamentals, these are little things that I kind of look at. Does it happen to everybody all across the league and all this kind of stuff? Yes. But when you see it happening, a lot, I just say, okay, how much are we actually working on blitz technique? Because you got to do it when you're running in between linemen. You got to do it when you're coming off the edge. I mean, right there, That's a huge play if he sacks him.
Mm-hmm. The game might actually just be over.
Yes. I mean,
because the clock's running, they don't have any timeouts. It's third. It would be
minutes.
3rd and 20.
Yeah. So, all right, this new play.
Yep, next play.
Overload blitz. All right. We almost made a boo-boo right here, didn't we? I guess it's a good thing that receiver didn't.
I don't yell at the TV a whole lot, but I did during this one. Yell right here. I was like, get out of the end zone. Do not take a knee.
I'll take a knee because
that's a smart.
Now I'm like, get down.
Because he was trying to run out the clock. I think he looked at the scoreboard.
You nice. I think he tried to score a touchdown.
I think he was too, because about right here, the clock was out.
The coach on the field down here about to get a penalty, or he telling everybody to get back. What's going on? Either way, comes up with a big play to be able to win the.
Oh, I went back. That's my bad.
To win the game, it's great that we had some pressure. He just heaved that thing up. So, question is, do you take his momentum, take him in or not?
I thought it did. Just don't even.
So someone brought up the question, and we'll end it with this: is when we scored the touchdown right before this.
Yeah, we actually showed it.
What if he doesn't?
If he just doesn't go in the end zone and
doesn't go in,
falls over?
Yep.
Probably saves you a little bit of grief
at that point, But you're in the game. You ain't really thinking about that, So I'm not really tripping on it, but you just would wish that we'd get the onside kick, and then it would have been over. We're not dealing with this. So, all right. Any other things that you think we feel like we need to highlight? Pass rush. I give you this Quindarius. We were talking about this a minute ago. Number 34. He had a 90 as a pass rush grade. That was pretty doggone good, and nobody was close. LT Overton was next. We already talked about pass blocking and run blocking, and then I kind of gave you some stuff on this tackle. So we just got to get ourselves ready for this Tennessee game now. Fix what you can fix, and
yep. Well, I won't. I guess I won't spoil the Tennessee preview. You have to catch us here on Wednesday, 8:15 Central.
Love it. I love it. Well, that sounds like our theme music, because we're about to be up out of here. Thank y'all for the time and for tuning in. It's Roll Tide Till We Die. We'll see y'all Wednesday, 8:15. As we said, we're going to preview Tennessee, Alabama. Anytime. Thank y'all. Hit that subscribe button. We'll talk to y'all later.
Happy Tennessee Hate Week.
Tennessee Hate Week.